What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. It is the 5th day of December. Here we are with about $577 being the price and 8 hours and 35 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon, by the way. Where are my manners? Here we are. We're moving up a little bit today. Bitcoin is down. Bitcoin's actually down on the day, and Bitcoin Cash is up, but they both started moving up over this past hour. You can see Bitcoin here having a nice voluptuous hour, as well as Bitcoin Cash, right? Bitcoin Cash is definitely teasing right now, making me think every hour for the past 4 hours that maybe we're going to do something, but nope, we're just not doing anything. Perhaps we do have lower to go, or perhaps this is a foreshadowing of something, some kind of a breakout to the upside to come right now. I mean, we are in this posturing right now with this kind of like falling wedge pattern after moving up like this. It's very possible we do break out to the upside. But should we go lower, I think we'll be fine. I want to talk about all that and more, so let's just get into it here. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, looking at this here, the RSI does have a double bottom. We have a nice double bottom at the oversold zone. That's productive, actually. It's really good to see, especially after being overbought at such a to such a degree here. Or an extent, whatever, same word. Finding support here at prior resistance, looking like you want to move up. I like the RSI. It's a bit choppy, it's a bit odd, but so is the price action. I like the RSI. It makes me think that we do want to move higher, at least in the short term, at least for the 1 hour. The stochastics, same thing, and the MACD. I mean, you've got all this bearish momentum. Look at how bearish that is. Bearish overeating on the MACD, and you didn't do anything, right? You did the same thing. This is basically the equivalent of what this is in length and time and depth. This might even be deeper than this. It's like the exact equivalent, but to the red effect. Whenever you had that on the green effect, look at how much you moved up. So the bulls are clearly in control. The bears, whenever it's their turn to run, they don't run much. You know what I mean? So we're reset on the MACD. We're reset on our stochastics and our RSI. We're ready to go higher. I think we will go higher. 4 hour time frame here. But let's keep that in mind too. If I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, maybe we pull back to the golden ratio. Maybe we pull back to 544 or even 537, but I kind of doubt it at this point. I would honestly be surprised if we got too much below this point here, 563. Maybe we could wick a little bit below the 382. You know, looking at it like this too, I suppose, going from the 382 to your 236, 382 to your 236, that does kind of open up the doors to go down to your 0.5 or even your golden ratio zone. So maybe the 1 hour is suggesting we go higher, and maybe we do. But if, in case I'm wrong, do be open-minded to a price of 537 to 555, okay? Somewhere in that range could be where we find support, kind of interact with this area again, and then we move up higher, okay? That's all. I wouldn't really call for that. That wouldn't have even been my expectation. Like, yes, this would have been the area that we would next expect to go down to if we were to go lower. But the only thing that's making me have some pause on being just bullish and not even considering the downside. The only reason I'm considering the downside at all is because of this double rejection here off the 236. Really, it's like more than a double rejection. It's all these points of rejection at the 236. It's typically not a good thing. It's typically not a good thing. And I mean, to be fair with the RSI, I mean, you are in a bearish posture, and you have the double bottom, which is nice. It's something to build from. But you are, I suppose, in a bearish posture and living below the 50. You could come down. You are finding resistance at prior support here. I don't know. There's reasons enough to go down, so don't get your feelings hurt if we do go down. If Bitcoin Cash does go to 555 or 534 or something in between there, that's not a reason to give up hope. We're not going to zero. It's just going to be a higher low that we bounce from. It's just not here that we bounce. Anyways, 4 hour RSI. We're pretty close to the 50. This is a good enough area, in my opinion, to bounce from. Maybe we go a little bit lower to the 50 and we bounce. Maybe we go all the way down to the 40 and we bounce. We've definitely found support at this area plenty of times. Overall, the 4 hour RSI is phenomenal. So even if we go down, I would assume it's very short-lived. We do continue to move up. Again, the 4 hour RSI is positive. The 4 hour time frame is good for gauging like the next 3 days to the next like maybe 5 days or so. And I would assume that over this next 3 to 5 day period, probably even over the next week, we do continue to grow. So even if there is a little bit of chop in the meantime, we go to the downside, we likely do continue higher. This is likely not the high. And by the way, the higher we go, the further past 600 we get, the more days that we get to close above 600, the closer we are. And we are so close right now, you guys, to this massive, massive breakout for Bitcoin Cash that we've been long anticipating. We'll get into that in a second. But stochastics, to be fair, would suggest that we go lower. I mean, how many times in recent history have we found support right here? Not this time, not this time, not that, not really any of these times here. Kind of right there, I guess, but you still went lower afterwards. A little bit right here, to be fair, but you were choppy and then you moved down. Sound familiar? We're kind of choppy here. We don't typically find support here. There you go, a little chop, and we found support here, and we moved up higher. So it can happen. It's not that it can't happen. It's just probable. The probability of it happening is not as high. So the RSI looks good, bullish over the coming days for sure. But could you come down to the 50? Could you come down to the 40 and still maintain that bullish look? Absolutely. You still have higher lows and everything. Absolutely. Absolutely you could. You can dip down here and then dip right back up like you have before. You've done it plenty of times. We've done the little dipperoo plenty of times. You could do it right now. So overall bullish, but again, there's this caution in the winds of a potential drop. And if we were to drop, 534, 555 will hold as support. Okay. MACD is bullish overall. Stochastics, RSI are bullish overall. Any kind of drop from here should not be significant. It should last for a small amount of time, and then before you know it, we're back to the upside. But it is important to mention on the daily time frame here, as we've kind of suggested on the 4-hour, that we are finding support at prior resistance here, at prior resistance there, at prior support here, at prior support there. It's somewhat of a significant area in this range here. From a high to a low, it's also right there with our golden ratio. That is the golden ratio zone right there at 563. So it's not that we have all this support and it's impossible to go lower. If we do, we're breaking down and we're going to zero. No, it's that there is a lot of support here. There's a lot of justifiable evidence in the charts to suggest that we don't go lower, or lower than the low that we have today, or too much lower at all. But if it does happen, again, that 555, 534 area would be where we'd look for support. Still a higher low, and we'd still move up higher. As I'm looking at this, I have a little bit more confidence that we don't go lower, but I'm pretty 50-50. In case you haven't told by this video, in case you can't tell by this video, I'm not really too decided. I'm not calling for us to go down and then for us to move up. At this point, I'm kind of more anticipating that we do just move up, we don't move down, but I could be wrong. And if I am wrong, 555, 534, that area, likely somewhere below or around 540 would be where we find support. And then we continue to move up higher. But at this point, if I had to put a stamp of approval on it, I would say we probably don't go below the yellow line. We probably don't, or if we do, very barely at all. We're likely to move up pretty soon here. It is Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday. Saturdays are typically boring. I'm just kind of curious. Let's see. Because I know they're boring for Bitcoin, but what about for Bitcoin Cash here? Let's look at Saturdays. We'll do Saturday right here. Pretty boring day right there. And then we'll get the next Saturday right there. So very exciting day before Saturday, very exciting day after Saturday, but very boring Saturday there. Boring there. It's somewhat small. It's the smallest day of like the 5 surrounding it. Not too boring. Boring. Not too boring. So it's not as boring as Bitcoin's Saturdays are, to be completely fair. Maybe we see some excitement over the weekend. I would love to see that. If Bitcoin Cash pumps over the weekend, that's great. At the moment, we are anticipating some upside. We are accepting of consolidation in the form of sideways consolidation or downward sloping consolidation, whatever it might be, and anticipating that either soon, like tomorrow or the next day, we're going to be pumping. If not, sometime next week, we should be moving up higher. Next week, this candle here closed at 590. Next week, if not these next couple of days, should be the first days in this move that we actually start to close above $600. And once we break that open, the only thing left to do is to close above these highs here. And once we do that, it's inevitable that we are going to dramatically higher prices, fantastically higher prices. And in which case, we can expect to see something that represents a breakout of this year-long consolidation we've had, something that is very representative of that. It would likely be a move just like this, but I would expect at a much faster pace. We should be interacting with $1,000 and above, I mean, any week now. Probably, I would very much assume that we are worth more than $1,000 by the end of this month of December, if not even worth multiple thousands of dollars by the end of this month of December. But I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said everything I need to say. The weekly RSI, I mean, just look at the RSI. It looks reset. Every time we've been down here, we found support this cycle, and we move up to the overbought zone. You know, I'll leave you to guess as to what that means, right? If we're moving up to the overbought zone from here, like we did this time, right here in the same area, more or less, we're likely going to see some stupendous growth. But none of those attempts moving up to the overbought zone resulted in the breakout of a lifelong consolidation phase, right? We are on the precipice of breaking out of this lifelong consolidation phase here, right about to break out of this whole consolidation range. I'm not drawing the straightest lines, but you can see what I'm going for. I would imagine something stupendous is coming. And truthfully, by the end of this move, we should see something around 2,700 to 4,400, if not higher, maybe as high as $6,000. That's what's coming for Bitcoin Cash. I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.